Do 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 do. I was gonna do drum roll, but I don't have drums. But I do have a kazoo around here somewhere. I should have grabbed that. This is our 100th episode of the Warrior Parent Podcast. So it's gonna be me and Debbie today, and we are so excited and so grateful for you all.
Wow, that was fun. It has been a journey that we're saying how we've been doing this. Now we're starting to finish each other's sentences. we start showing books that we didn't even know we were going to talk about.
Talking about some great books today.
Yeah, this one is a nice summarization of a lot of things to help you get through the chaos right now. So listen in.
The world is a lot right now. Are you feeling it? We all need new tools to help us walk through the chaos with grace, ease, and compassion for each other and for ourselves. In this podcast, you'll hear from parents, educators, and other experts who can bring perspective to the monumental job of parenting. It's time to level up and be warriors for our kids and our communities. This is the Warrior Parent Podcast. I'm Marci Mitchell.
And I'm Debbie DiManno. As parents, we understand that it really does take a village to raise our kids. We hope that this podcast serves to create and support that community for you. Join us as we discuss and practice our core tools, which are proven mind-body techniques that can be used by anyone to improve your life on a daily basis.
Well, welcome to the Warrior Parent Podcast. This is a special day for me and Debbie because this is our 100th episode. And yeah, we're both kind of like, really? How did we get to 100 episodes? But turns out that you just commit to doing one a week, and before you know it, there you are. And this has been such a journey for both of us. You know, we talk about how this was Debbie's daughter's, Tori. Shout out to Tori, her idea that we do a podcast. Debbie brought it to me, and I have been making a practice of being open and saying yes, but I was like, whoa, wait a minute, huh? The no came up bigger than the yes, and it took a little convincing, and boy, it's been an amazing experience. I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah.
And thank you to Tori, thank you to Debbie for always pushing me and getting me right where I need to be.
Well, yeah, like I said to Marci, time just flies when you're having fun, and I have just enjoyed this so much. I mean, I imagine the first couple episodes were white knuckling it a little bit because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. But anyway, like we've just discovered, well, first of all, like all the things that we preach about, right? Like connectivity, right? Connecting not only with each other, I think connecting for me and myself and my own voice.
Yes.
And then
going within.
Yeah. And then the community. My God, the people that we have met from all over the world. It just like my brain just feels so expansive, and I just feel love. I just feel love from all these people who are just saying so many times this, thanks for showing up and being a great human being. And that gives me joy.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about community today because community is so important. And normally when we think of that, we think of like in our local community and finding other people, and maybe it's someone you're taking a walk with, or you get together for lunch, or you do a book club or whatever. It's your church community. It's a classes that you're taking, a community center, art. This community that we've created through the Warrior Parent Podcast is truly a global community. We've interviewed people from South Africa multiple times, and Australia, and Europe, and Canada, and of course all across the United States. And I would love for us, we need to get a little map and just start putting pins, and all of us just cover the world with this Warrior Parent community, because that really was the intention. And there's just beautiful people all over the world, and during these very challenging times, it's that will keep your head above water, that will keep you centered and grounded, to know that you're not alone, that there's other people, that they see you, that they're supporting you, that they've got your back, or just that they appreciate you, that they see what's happening. It's all really important. So the community is
just to be seen and to be heard by thousands and thousands of people feels amazing. And then to get the feedback, like, oh my gosh, we need this so much. The planet needs this so much. When meanwhile, we don't get paid a dime for doing any of this. We do this out of the goodness of our heart and the fact that we are OGs. And my girlfriend asked, "What are OGs?" Old gals, just for reference.
Oh, I always thought you were saying original gangster.
Oh,
And you were saying old gal. Well,
old
same,
gals.
same, right? Some days we feel like an old gal, and some days it's original gangster. And
Yeah. But I feel like, we've been around a bit and we have
yeah,
some stories
we
to
have. We've been
tell.
on the planet long enough to learn some lessons, and we're still young enough that we are, we're functioning in our bodies and we're doing work that we can do. This whole to get super, super existential, why are we here? Come to the planet, for whatever. Sometimes it's 60, sometimes it's 100 years, hopefully somewhere on the higher end. And I know some people leave sooner, but what do you do when you're here and how do you show up? And we know that showing up when you're a kid, you're just joyful, you're still connected to your divine self, until
Yeah.
people start to smash you down a little. And then we have all these growth years, first 25 years developing the brain, figuring out who we are. Then we're in that, then you're in this, okay, now what? Now I'm a grown up. How do I adult? Am I supposed to have a
Yeah.
house? What's my job? Blah, 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 blah. Then maybe you're going to have kids, and now it's all about your kids and raising humans. And then suddenly you get to a point, or not so suddenly, and you're like, okay, my kids are pretty good, or even if they're struggling, they're adults, they're starting to figure it out. I'm still there for them, but now why am I here? Beyond bringing these
Yeah.
beautiful people into the world, which is a huge piece of it. And I know we both are just, I think we both would say that's like the biggest piece of what we've done so far that we can be so proud of, is our gorgeous children, are amazing, these amazing people that we brought in. But now what? What else? Like, what else are we here
Yeah.
to do? And that's where we are. We're in this purpose work, how can we show up in the world and be a force for good and be part of a transformation to something better, instead of being part of the muck? Because there's a lot of muck out there, and we don't want to be mired in it.
That might
We
that
certainly
might
don't
be an
want to
understatement.
we don't want to distribute it. We don't want to share it. We don't want to be
Yeah.
like, here, have some more shit. Here it
Yeah.
is. We want to be like, no, clear that
Yeah.
away and center into the earth and feel our connection. And so that's like where we are now. And it's beautiful. And I hope that you're finding that. It doesn't have to be when you're, 58 or 60 or 70.
Yes.
It can be whenever you can find it.
Yes.
This is where it's coming in for us mostly, but that's what
Yeah.
we're calling in, people who are feeling that, like, how can I show up as in my
Yeah.
purpose and as part of the good that can be unfolding in the world.
Yeah. And so many of the people that we've interviewed are sort of giving me hope for that, right?
Yes.
Especially the younger generations, which you and I have talked about for
Yeah.
years, and that I really believe that they are here to escort us into a different place in the
Yeah.
world. And I believe that
Yeah.
with all of my heart. And the
Yeah.
more work we do around this, the more emboldened I feel to share that story with
Yeah.
everyone else, right?
Right. And for us to show up for them, like to be like, we're here for you. Like, yes,
Yes.
it feels sometimes like we're handing you this world that's turned to shit. And everything happens for a reason. It's all part of a process of something unfolding. And we're here now. This is your world. We're handing it off. So we're here to support you. We're here to stand up and whatever. We're going to stand in front of you and shield what we can so that you can do the good work that you're doing now, because it's the next generation's time. But that doesn't mean we
Yeah.
don't have a role to play, and we're going to
Right.
play the fuck out of it until we're not here anymore. Like, this
Yes.
is why we're here.
This is
So
why we're here.
that's
We
why we're
agreed to
here.
show up during this chaotic time
Yes.
for sure, and
And you know what, I keep saying this to people. If you were here on the planet right now, hear me now. If you are here, you are here for this. You would not be here paying attention and being not just down in the muck, again, throwing shit and saying this and they're the worst. And if only it weren't for them and blah, blah, blah.
yes,
If you're here and you're listening and you're like, what's happening? What I want kindness, I want love. You are here for a reason. And you are here
yes,
right now for a reason. You've got work to do. So, buckle up, ground in, take care of yourself, have a drink of water, get some rest, eat some good food, and be ready to show up for a planet, for a people, for humanity, for all of this, for the universe, as
yeah,
we birth this new way of being that is more open, more empathetic, more compassionate, more loving, more equal, more a place that works, a world that works for everyone, including animals and plants and Mother Earth herself.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's no mistake. You're here for a reason. So
I love that. I love that. That's very joyful Marci thing to say. We all
yeah.
love our joyful Marci, and there are people signing up and by the droves now to get a little joyful Marci because she actually does know how to do this really well, and I feel grateful to be doing this work with her. But
Thank you.
I have to say this stress is getting the best of a lot of people, and so I don't want to
Yeah.
pretend. I don't want to pretend that, oh, Marci and I, we get it all figured out. We do
No, no, no,
podcasts.
no.
We show up happy, 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 happy every day. And that's just
Yes.
not the case. It's just not the
No.
case. And I wanted to share something that's really been helpful for me. Of course, we have all the tools, I'm constantly
Yeah.
using the tools, but man, even the tools are, are having a bit of a rough time right now. So I've been reading the Mel Robbins bestseller right now, the Let Them Theory. Holy guacamole. And I know there's thousands and thousands of people reading this book and people are getting it tattooed on their asses. They believe in it so much, and I'm
I'm
thinking
not sure
about
the ass is the right place for that statement. Like, I
they
appreciate the idea, but maybe not there.
tramp stamp maybe. I don't know. But man, that book is really hitting home for me,
Yeah.
and those of you who've been listening know that I have had to let go of a lot of,
Yeah.
things in my life, a lot of things that are not serving me, to include family and friends and all of
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
and, I could feel bad about that, but I don't. I don't. I feel powerful in
Yes.
making that very difficult decision to
That
do
was
that.
self-care. That's an
That's
excellent
so good.
example of self-care. And I
Yeah,
having watched you go through that, bravo
yeah,
you. Very
yeah.
proud of you.
It's taken 60 years, but I'm a little bit of a slow learner. But anyway,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know about this book, The Let Them Theory, I'm gonna highly recommend you read it. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to take a little excerpt and talk about this. So what is the Let Them Theory? So basically, the Let Them Theory is about freedom. The Let Them Theory will free you from the burden of trying to manage other people. When you stop obsessing or what other people think, say, or do, you finally have the energy to focus on your own life and
Yeah.
stop reacting and start living instead of driving yourself crazy trying to manage and please other people around you.
Mhm. Right.
So it
You
seems
never
like,
get to change someone else, really.
yeah, it seems like such a simple thing.
I know.
It really does, but
Yeah.
my God, and so I was reading, she'd done a lot of research. In fact, while she was writing the book, she's sort of been using the let them theory, just sort of throwing it out and using it in her everyday life. And then all these people show up with the tattoos and she's realizing like it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So she went to Harvard and she really found out a lot about this
Mhm.
theory and kind of why it's working. So I think what the statistics are that, from Dr. Aditi from Harvard says that 7 of 10 people are currently living in a chronic stage of stress.
Yeah.
Chronically stressed. That's 70% of the people swimming in cortisol in our world right now.
Right. Which
And
we
it,
know leads to all kinds of physical manifestations that, I've heard that just a majority of things that people end up dying from, going to the hospital for, start with stress.
yeah,
From
80
heart
percent
disease to, yeah, 80%.
80.
So, I mean, folks, we know this. We've been hearing this for years and years, and yet we still live in it.
Yeah.
And that's not like it's not a dig. Like, I'm there too. And it's not so easy to just try to say, oh, I'm not going to be stressed anymore, and then still show up in this world that we've created that is not designed for human thriving. We have created
Right.
a world that's all about how much are you making, how hard are you working, how little of sleep can you get by on,
Yes.
how wait, you stopped to take a meal, oh well, I didn't, I skipped lunch today, and
Right.
all these things that we put, and it's capitalism, folks, it's capitalism and patriarchy. We put this value on not caring for ourselves, on being a robot, and that's stressful. That's how you
Yeah.
burn out
Yeah.
your body and end up being
Yeah.
not making it to close to 100 and not enjoying the years you have because you're constantly trying to win at capitalism, trying to control other people, trying to control everything around you. Control stuff is really, it's because you
Well,
can't.
it's
You can't
well,
do it.
It's innate though. It's innate.
It
So I'm
is
gonna go.
innate.
So
Yes.
Marcy's going social. I'm going science. Okay. So
Okay.
the whole science on this is that stress actually lives in the amygdala, which is the reptilian part of your brain. So way,
Mhm.
way, way down deep
Yep. Yep.
is where that center lives. And so the idea that you think you can just sort of think your way out of this, out of stress, like Marcy said, like, oh, I'm not going to feel stressed anymore. Yeah. Well, that doesn't really work
Good
that way.
luck.
Right? Right?
Yep.
So if we're thinking about it from that perspective, like it's going to take a little more than just thinking I'm not going to be stressed anymore, right? It's
Yep.
it's going to the tools that, Marcy and I talk about all the time,
Right.
and then building discipline with those tools for
Right.
self-care, for self-regulation, right?
Yes.
And then
New pathways, new neural pathways, firing
yes,
and wiring, that's about as much science as I can talk
yeah,
about it. And then Deb can
yeah,
explain what that means. But
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
because well, first of all, as we always say, starts with awareness. You first stop, you don't beat yourself up. You say, ooh, why am I freaking out so much? Because the lady with the shopping cart that had 17 items and it's a 15, why am I so upset about that?
as
Like,
you're
instead
count
of just
as
getting
you're
into the
counting
rage,
as you're
yeah,
counting
the
her in your
rage,
car.
and you're looking at everyone else. Are you seeing this shit?
Yeah.
What is
Yes.
that serving? Like,
Yeah.
so the first step is, oh, look at me. I'm all worked up. My
Yeah.
amygdala's firing. I'm feeling stressed. I'm kind of heated up. I have to take my jacket
Yeah.
off. What's going
Yeah.
on? Take a
Yeah.
pause, take a breath.
Yeah.
And
So
then what
so
would
the
I rather do?
right. So technically those emotions, I'm going science again. So technically those emotions, it takes about 6 seconds for that to happen, for the emotion to sort of show up in your body,
Yeah,
right? And then
yeah.
what Marcy says about taking a breath, it's like such a big deal. But
Mhm.
but what it takes is 90 seconds to come down from that. So if you can
Mm,
avoid in that 90 seconds, not picking up the phone, not sending a nasty text, not, going to the refrigerator, not pouring a double martini, not like, right? All the things that we
all
all
the things.
do from time to time
Yeah.
by watching too much news. The double
Exploding.
martini.
Yeah,
Yes.
yelling at the person, your kids, whoever, all that.
Yeah.
And talk
So,
about that 6 seconds. So Debbie was talking about the amygdala. Like, some people know this, but some don't. Like, there is a physiological reaction happening in your body to whatever it is, shopping
yep.
cart lady, or your kids weren't listening, or the driver, or your boss, or your spouse, or whoever. Hey, we just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about something very exciting that Debbie and I and our team have been working on for literally years. And that is our Core Tools app, which is now available at the Google Play Store and at the Apple Store. And you can sign up for it now, and you will get access to all the tools we've been talking about on the podcast.
And if you're an early adopter of Core Tools, you can get a VIP price for $49 for a lifetime. That's
Lifetime.
right. That's
Buy
right.
it once, and we'll keep
Lifetime.
updating it too.
Yes, yes. So we're super excited about this. Go to Apple Store, go to Google Play, and purchase it now.
Core Tools, COUR, capital TOOLS.
Go get it.
So before you're even really figuring out what's going on, when your body starts doing that, like your heart rate is going up, and your body might be heating up, you might start to sweat. That's the stuff. Like, there's your warning sign that, ooh, something is off here. And that's cortisol, right? That's the cortisol
Yep.
flowing, and it's not healthy. But then that part might happen. But then that's where your choice, where you stop and take a breath and
Yes.
say, wait, what is going on right now? Why am I?
Yes.
And so often we are not really conditioned to do that. We're conditioned to just explode out and,
Yep.
and yell or cry or freak out, or
Yep.
the other thing, and it's not much better. You're not going to yell. You're not going to explode it. You're just going to, like, internalize it. Now you're just becoming this ball of stress. You're thinking, you think, oh my God, I can't believe, and why didn't I do that? And how could they do that? And you're reliving it over and over and over,
Yeah.
and your body doesn't know the difference. So the cortisol is flowing and flowing, and all of
Body's
that.
keeping the score, as we say.
Body is keeping the score. And then that's manifesting
Yep.
into the shit, into
Yeah.
the disease, into
Yeah, and
the
now we have a chronic situation because you can't
yeah,
flip that little switch off, in your amygdala to say, "No, no, 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 don't like,
yeah,
stop doing this." It gets in
right.
this rinse and repeat cycle, and
Yes.
you
And
can't
so take
stop.
that back to the let them theory.
Yeah, so part of that is maybe if you can't think to take your breath or you got your 90 seconds or whatever, maybe just say, "Let them,"
Yeah,
right? Maybe you can say that to yourself and just be still
right,
for a hot moment, right?
right,
And then so that then let is the release. So it stops goes from the front of
right.
your brain down
It
to the amygdala, right? And finally in 90 seconds, you're gonna be okay, right? You'll
yeah,
you'll calm down. You'll have a moment to calm
right.
yourself down.
And let
But
them means, like, if it's the woman with the cart, just
yeah.
let her go through. Who cares? Like, why do you need to control that? Or if it's the guy who cut you off, ooh, let me just, oh, I'm glad we didn't have an accident. Let them drive the way they're driving, but let
Yes.
me, so let that. And if it's your kids and they're having a meltdown, sometimes you
Yeah.
do need to let them, or they want to
Yes.
do something that you don't understand. And you're like, what? That's not the
Yeah.
right way to do it. Let them.
Yeah.
So this is
And
where
what
it comes back in.
And that's what we've learned from so many people on the podcast is that, when your kids specifically, because this is the Warrior Parent podcast, when your kids
Yeah.
specifically are having some emotions, you need to let them because they
Yeah.
need to learn, and you can help them to learn that it's okay to have that emotion, right?
Right.
Otherwise, there is no self-regulation. They've never learned how. If you're just
Right.
screaming at them and throwing them in a corner, they don't know what to do,
Yeah.
right? So if you let them and acknowledge they're having the feeling and then
Right.
go through it with them, and not shut them out, that's
Right.
a learning moment. That's an opportunity for our kids to self-regulate instead
Right,
of
and let them figure the same they're learning the same thing that you're learning now at for us, 60,
yes,
they're learning it at 3 and 4 that, "Oh, what is this emotion and why am I having this?" Like, not that they're intellectualizing all this, but
right.
they're being taught at the basis level when their brain is really developing that it's okay to have this emotion, and
Yeah,
let me look at it for a minute and let me breathe through it, and now I can release it because it didn't have to get shut down or something. I got to process it. I got to go through it and then let it go.
yeah,
And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about, okay, what does this look like? What could this look like? So the let them theory. So let's say you're in the market with a 3-year-old and they want you to buy the ding dongs and you decide, no, you're not gonna buy. And now they're throwing a fit. So first chance to say let them is, okay, let them experience their upset. But here's the second part that I think will trigger a lot of us is all the people who are looking over.
yes,
Let
being
them.
judged.
Let them judge you. Let them think what
Yes,
they're thinking because that's not your business either. And a lot of them are not really. A lot of them are going to be like, "Oh God, I remember those days." But
yes,
whatever they're doing, that's theirs. Let them do that. Your right now, your duty is to work with your child to process this. So
yes,
there's like two chances to
yeah,
let them and let them, and
yeah,
then let me do what's mine to do
yes,
in this moment, which is comfort my child and have this like let
yeah,
them explain maybe it's why we're not buying this or but
yeah.
also what they're feeling like okay this feels bad because I know you really wanted that or whatever.
Yeah. So you bring up the point. So that's the intro to the second part of the let them,
Hmm.
which she talks about so eloquently, but then the let me. So now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Now that you have let go, now that I have released family or released thoughts or released trauma, now what am I going to do about it? Right? So you have a choice. You could sit there, I could sit there and be angry and have a pity party and woe is me and lonely or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's not it, right? Like I have made a conscious choice to have this big, beautiful life. And it just doesn't have to include certain people who I thought may be cruising along on this journey with me. That doesn't mean even by the way, forever. And by the way, this is not for everyone. Right.
Right.
But you have a choice in the matter when you let them, then let me. Then what am I gonna do about this now? Right?
Right. What's mine
And
to do?
what's mine to do? Right?
Yeah.
And I think people in the beginning, what they were reading it and they were like, "Oh, thank God. Like, I'm just gonna get rid of all this shit in my life,"
Yeah.
right? And then she's like, "Oh, wait. Wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait. There's this now what are you gonna do?" Right? And
Right.
what do you now you gotta own up to your stuff. You gotta look in the mirror and go, "Hmm," right? Like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do now?
Yeah,
And
and that's
it
a big question, and it can feel like a lot, but it's also exciting because
yeah,
now you're empowering your own life. You're never in charge of other people other than, and this is the part that gets tricky for parents, other than raising your kids. So yes, it doesn't mean like your kids going for the gun. Oh, let them, you know. It
right.
doesn't mean they can do whatever. Like you're still parenting, but what you're controlling, or it's not even the best thing, what you're where you're guiding and leading is them to safely learn how to show up in the world, not that they become the people you decided they were going to be, not that they're going to do the things you wanted
Yes.
them to do or learn the things or do whatever their your way. Like you could be a very analytical person and then birth the most artistic, just hippie child, and you need to let them be themselves.
Yes.
Well, God, we got to know that you can't push other people into boxes, and certainly not the box you choose. So let them be, but we know that as a parent, we're still going to show up and we're going to guide and we're going to help, and obviously we're going to keep them safe, and we're going to teach them to be compassionate and empathetic for other people. So this is something I'm fascinated by gentle parenting and conscious parenting because it was not something I was at all exposed to as a child or as a parent. Like I didn't know about that. So now I'll watch a lot of content creators and young moms talking about what it is. And so like you see a situation, or also therapists and people who were really smart
Yeah.
on this. So a kid, like two kids in the playground, and one comes up and smacks the other kid. And one of them's yours and one of them's not. But the inclination to go to the kid who smacked, and we're talking about 2 and 3 year olds, and say, why did you do that? That's not right. You say you're sorry, versus what they're showing now is you go to the kid who got smacked and you say, oh my goodness, look at you. Are you okay? That must have
Mhm.
hurt. How do you feel? And now your kid is watching you commensurate and be empathetic with the other kid. And they can be like, oh, I hurt him,
Right.
versus I did a thing because I'm 3 and I'm trying to get attention or whatever.
Right.
But and now I'm going to get yelled at and told not to do that. Instead, it's like you have the opportunity to watch someone be empathetic and, oh, that must have hurt.
Yes.
And then that kid has a chance to say, oh, and they do model us. Then they come over and say, oh, sorry, or So that was
Modeling.
fascinating in me because I'm like, well, what do you do? What do you do? You can't just grab them
Yeah.
and say no. And
Yeah.
so stay open and learn these things. But it's a let them. So now the them is your kid. Let them
Yeah.
see what you're modeling with the child that they just hurt.
Yeah, I think
Mind
modeling
blowing.
is everything. I never really
Yeah.
understood that until probably 15, 20 years ago, but
Yeah.
modeling is everything, especially with the child's growing brain until they're
Yes.
25, as we know.
Yeah.
But and then, what are you modeling? So if you're the parent who's modeling rage and you're in the car and you're screaming at people or you're yelling people
Yeah.
in the grocery store, that's what you're modeling, right?
Hmm.
And so we man, we had a couple podcasts today, but we just had this beautiful woman on who's doing this conscious parenting, and there's some really beautiful modeling going on. But what we learned is it's always an inside job, right? You
Yeah.
can't do the modeling if you're not willing to look in the mirror and do your own work,
Yeah.
right?
And it's okay. That's why we're here. We
Right.
don't come here. This is the thing I tell my son so often. We don't come here to be perfect. So
Yes.
he's in college now, and he can be so hard on himself about his grades or how he's doing things. And I'm like, this is college is not to show people how much you know. College is to learn. And it's the
Right.
same thing in what my our good friend Sherry calls Earth School. That's where we are. We come to Earth School to learn, to grow, to become our highest and our best. So when
Yes.
you are, if it wasn't modeled for you, now you have to build new neural pathways. You have to
Yes.
change things that used to go this way. Now you're going to be like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. We're not going to go to this. We're going to go this way. And you do it until your brain actually does create a new neural pathway where you're learning something new. So it's hard at first because you keep going
Yeah.
back to, I'm going to yell now, I'm going to cry now, I'm going to be upset. you keep practicing, and now you create the new neural pathway. Now you're not always going back to that old thing. Now you're at your new thing, and now it's easier and it's more natural because we're growing. We're doing this. I do this all the time in classes and
Yeah.
stuff. This is how we do it. It's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might look like this, but it's not this. That's a linear view. In a 3D, it's this. You're leveling
Yes.
up, you're learning more. And sometimes, yes, you fall back a little bit. Then you go back and you go faster or
Yeah.
farther. Or the time when you get triggered, you realize it right away versus
Yes.
3 days later. Wow, I really got triggered and acted badly. This time, maybe it's in the first minute. You realize it, and now you take the deep breath and you switch it. And that's how we change our lives. That's how we make different choices and take the different road for a more joyful, empowered, intentional life, which is what the podcast about, which is going to air next week, is about showing up intentionally, not just as a parent, but as a human being, like in your marriage, with your
Yes.
kids, with your own life, with your career. That's what was maybe not modeled so much for us, but that we're learning to model now, that you
Yeah.
can make choices about these things. And when you're doing something that you can see is not healthy, doesn't feel good, is not uplifting, you can look at it and then make a different choice, and you'll
Yeah.
build that new muscle to go
Yeah.
the other way.
Yeah, it's that leveling up process, right? Like you said, you
Yeah.
think, oh, like look at me, look at
Just getting
me.
better and
I
better.
got this all figured out, and oh my gosh, like I'm just
Yeah.
coming up against something that I've been haunted by for 6 years, and realizing like, this constantly is a reminder for me that it's just this peeling of the onion, right?
Yeah.
It just comes off piece by piece, and but the more you're willing to peel the onion, the more exposed
Yeah.
and beautiful your life can be because you're getting to the heart of the onion, right?
Yeah.
As you know, if you think about the tears, like every time
Yeah.
you
There's
peel out
tears. There's
something,
going to be tears, folks.
a lot of tears. It hurts like hell. But my
Yeah.
goodness, like because you're willing to be vulnerable and do a little more peeling, you can
Yeah.
just do more and more in this
Yeah.
world with the time that
And
you
you're
have.
made for this. You're made for this. I like to quote a minister from Costa Mesa, Reverend Jim Terrell, when he's where I started really taking these classes in this spirituality and this transformational self-help, if you will. And he always talked about all of this learning is gradual, it's cumulative, and it's
Yes.
sequential. So you're moving gradually, it's cumulative, it's building, it's building, it's building, even if you don't
Yes.
realize it. And then sequential in that if you don't learn this, you can't do that. So
Yep.
you do have to, you might take a class and learn a bunch of stuff, but only one thing seeps in really, and you really get that. You can't move on to the next one, even though you might have heard it until you take another class and then that seeps
Yes.
in. Or it's not always a class. It could be a
Yep.
workshop. It could just be aware of your life. But like
Yes.
again, you're on Earth School. Are you learning? Are you open to new experiences?
Yeah.
And then you can take that next step, and
Yeah.
it's building and you're growing and you're leveling up. And that's
I
why we're
remember
here.
that, reading the Don Miguel Ruiz book, The Four Agreements. Like, so the
Mhm.
first time I read it, probably 15 years ago or something, and I'm reading it. Oh, she,
Here it is,
of course, she
just
has right
finished
there.
again.
It's the Bible, yeah, for some
Such a
of
good
us.
book.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first time you read it, you have this sort of awareness and, probably got 10% of what was in there.
Yes.
And every time you read it now 15 years later, it's a completely different book
Yes.
to me. It has a completely different meaning. So what does that mean? It means you're expanding, you're growing.
Yes.
It means you have a willingness to stay open, which we say all the time, right?
It's so important. And um as long as since you brought it up, and we did not
Yeah.
talk about this, I just finished doing my 7th class on this because I
Oh,
keep doing this one every few years it comes up. But I
yes.
want to share it what the four agreements are. A lot of you may
Yes.
know this book has been around for 30 years, I think.
Wow. Wow.
But here are the four agreements, and they come from the Toltec wisdom, and it's according to Don Miguel Ruiz. And so these are the four agreements that if you can make these and live with these, this will transform your life. But even if you
Yeah.
start with one, and my favorite is the first one, be impeccable with your word, speak with
Yes.
integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip against others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. And then the second agreement, don't take anything personally. This kind of comes back to let them, right? Because it's
Yep.
not about you, the other stuff. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dreams. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. And then the third one, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions, say more, and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. And then the final one is always do your best. Then your best is going to change from moment to moment. It's different when you're healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. That's provided you can say, I did my best and they did their
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
So another
Yeah.
shout out to another great book
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
This
We
is
didn't
really a great place to start.
we didn't plan that actually. That's so
No, but
funny.
there's
But
so many good books out there.
I know. I know. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, Marci, it's been 100 episodes. What do you think?
Cheers to 100 and to 100 more or whatever's next. We're always open.
Yeah.
We know there's new things coming in this year. This year, 2025 is fucking nuts. And I think we're all feeling it.
Yep.
It's like, and you were made for this. So use your tools, use the 4 agreements, use let them theory, use the tools, take a breath. Guys, that one tool is the most important one. It's the easiest one. It's always right there.
Yep.
When you are in it, pause and breathe. When you breathe deeply, you calm your parasympathetic
Yeah. And go for
nervous
go
system.
go for 90 seconds if you can.
Yeah, take a minute and a half to do some deep mindful
Yes.
breathing. Not up here into the belly.
Yes.
Slowly. And that's going to serve you because these are hard times. These are challenging times. They're important times, and something better is unfolding. You're here for a reason. Show up as yourself. Remember to breathe and self care. Drink some water, take a nap, get some rest. Let people go who are sucking the joy out of your life. Let them go
Yes.
if that's what you need to do.
Yes. And keep listening to the Warrior Parent podcast.
Yeah. Community, creating community is a big
Yes.
thing right now. We need
Yeah.
our communities. So thank you for being
Right.
part of this community. We are so grateful for all of you who are listening. If this is resonating for you, share this with someone else who could maybe be uplifted by it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Warrior Moms. As we started this podcast, we had determined that part of what we were going to do is to create a community. So we have decided to take it to another level, and we have started our own Facebook community in addition to the Warrior Parent podcast, and it's called
From Chaos to Calm, a sanctuary for moms. Here's what it looks like. It's on Facebook right now. Please go and join it. And just to let you know, we're going to create our Blue Sky accounts right now. We're getting prepared as we watch this weird stuff go on in America. So we may be shifting the whole group to Blue Sky. Just be aware that we got you. You're going to start here. If this turns out to be not a safe place anymore on Facebook, then we will shift over. But what we're creating is a safe space where moms can show up and get information, get support, talk to each other about the things you're going through with your kids, the things you went through with your kids, maybe get some advice from moms, but also other experts. We're going to invite all of our guests and experts to join the group. I hope you will too. This is a place where you can show up and be seen and be heard and be safe. Mom's got you.
Nobody trusts anyone more than moms. So let's do this.
And now for your core mental health break. This is your opportunity to take a moment to support your mental wellness, your peace of mind, your own ease and grace. Take some time every day to support your mental health. You deserve it, and it matters. Today we're going to journal. So get a piece of paper or your journal or use your phone, and here's your journaling prompt for today. My dream job is... So then you just write about what comes up for you, and don't limit yourself by what you think you could do or what you think you're good at or what you think will make enough money. Just describe your dream job. My dream job is...
Enjoy your journaling.
Thanks for listening to the Warrior Parent Podcast, which is a production of our nonprofit, Cour Experience, who also creates and distributes Cour tools. You can find us at courexperience.org. Make sure you join us next week for another informative conversation to help you and your family show up mindfully, purposefully, and joyfully with each other and in your community.
Our Cour Tools platform consists of a number of proven tools and techniques that are designed to reduce stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in spite of what's going on in your world. We want to thank Samuel Hale, LLC, for sponsoring this podcast. Technical and marketing support comes from Inspire Your Brand. Our podcast editor is Justin Beeden. Opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the producers, or the financial supporters. I'm Debbie DiManno.
And I'm Marci Mitchell. Thanks for listening. If you resonate with the idea of creating a community to help support kids and families, won't you join us by following the podcast and sharing this episode? You can even write a review. It truly does take a village, and we appreciate you.